Was good. This is my very first of many beat breakdowns. Um, I've been meaning to do this for a while though too, like especially being more like interactive with y'all, showing y'all my my process of how I come with my production. So I was like, man, Hughes just dropped. I had the privilege to executive produce that album along with the guys, B Bearded, Niko, the whole team. Very, 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 very proud of that. The way that project came out. I know Niko since 2021, I think 2022, 2021, 2022, around there. Very, very talented, like up and coming artist. A lot of greatness in the making. So it was dope to have his blessings, and for him to trust my ear on this project. So I was like, yo, since it came out, I mean, I might as well drop a little breakdown on one of my favorites, I think, for sure, off the project, SouthSide Sundayz. So yeah, let's get into it. At first, let me take you out to the actual sample. Shout out to my boy Luke Crowder. He also co-produced on this. He's the one that actually provided me with the music on this. So to start with, it's crazy because to begin with, the sample itself is not even the timing. If you haven't caught, if you actually listen to it, is actually a 3/4 time signature on the original sample that Luke had sent me. And I don't know what I was like. I don't know, like something just like I was just like, man, like I could really chop this up and like put it into like 4/4, like just so it has like some type of like cadence. But as soon as I heard the music, I was like, oh nah, this sounds timeless. And I think that was a very big factor that we was trying to implement in this project, is timelessness. And just if we were to like listen to this project 5-10 years down the line, like it would still resonate. And I guess our whole focus really in this project was quality and timelessness, and I think we perfected that in this project, and this song shows it for sure, and you can hear it. So originally, I think it was halftime right here, but originally it was double time. So let me go to this BPM. It was this BPM at first, and this is what it sounded like before. Very vibey, jazzy, you know what I mean? It's got that soulful sound. yeah, y'all get the gist. But yeah, like just from the sample alone, I was just like, and it's crazy because before I even like chopped it up or anything, like I just literally had this sample on loop for like 10 times. I was like just picturing how I would chop it, and just because there's one thing about, like samples, like I mean it would have been like easy for me to just did a 3/4 like drum pattern on top of the sample and call it quits, but I felt it called for like chopping, and I don't know, like it was one of the it was just too special for me to just lay drums on it on itself and then just call it that. But I was just like, yo, like what if I really like took my time on this one? So that's what it sounded originally. And I think what I did is I mean, this is double time, but I think I like half timed it. I did some like I don't know how I did it exactly, but I did it in a sense where like I chopped it a certain way, where I grabbed like certain pieces of the chops, and it was a lot of just chopping and dragging on to the grid, because a lot of people will use something, especially if you're a FL user, you'll use like slice X or fluty slicer, fruity slicer, right? But I don't know, I did everything on the playlist. I like doing that on playlists. So a lot of these were like kind of like placing them on the playlist grids right here. A lot of just dragging. There's a few automation on some parts. Let me see if I could play it. How I did it. So this is the chop I came up with afterwards. I don't think it's gonna play like everything correctly, but I think I went down one. I think I went down one key. Yeah, I went down one key. So yeah, and so I came up. So how I came up with, and then let me see, and then I came up with this. It came out to looking like this. So it was just like, oh no, I gotta go back to the original BPM 87. Yep. So I think when you go to the string parts, this part, then you go right here, then I chop the strings. So I don't know if you could hear like like certain like you could hear the chops that I like. You could hear like the fades and the automation within the chops that I was using. Like it's like for me, my style is like I like layering a lot. Whether it's a sample, drums, for the sample itself though, it was a lot of it wasn't really much I did, honestly, like in terms of, adding to the sample. I didn't really want to add anything cuz the music was already so good already. So all the work was really in the chopping, which I showed y'all right here, which I did over here. A few automations here and there. But other than that, like, yeah, like stuff like this where you'll see like I layer like a phrase on top of a intro phrase. Like it was literally a lot of that. But I didn't do too much because I didn't want to take away from what the musicality was doing already. So yeah, on top of this, I think I did some textures. If you know me and my production style, I really love textures. But for this case, it was something like simple. I didn't want the textures to do too much. Just a basic vinyl static. Um, yeah, just basic vinyl. Of course, my transitions right here. Super simple. Let me go to the bass before I go to the drums real quick. So the bass, which is pretty interesting, and I don't know what I could have went the whole 808 route, but I felt like I really wanted to keep that jazzy element to it. So like, but still try to keep it a little modern too. So I don't know what I did, but I think I was on Trillion, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, I was on Pure Synth Platinum. And this is another gem, another VST gem. It's by gospel musicians. Go get that. It's got a lot of like live sounding instruments, keys, Rhodes, leads, synth basses, like you name it, it's all in here. But I used a preset over here, a bass preset. It's called Full Jazz Upright. Let me see if I actually have the actual MIDI. Oh, there it is. I think I was playing this on my keyboard, like my actual like keyboard on the computer. I don't think I used the MIDI keyboard. But these were the notes to it. Really simple, nothing crazy, just following what the sample was already doing. But just adding a certain bounce to it. So this is what I came up with from that upright. And I stacked it. So I had one, I guess, kind of louder, and the other one was acting. I don't know if I did some processing or something. Let me go back to it. Yeah, I had this on it, a little saturator, but it wasn't doing too much. And that's another thing about my production style. Like, when it comes to effects, what you want to do is start off with good sounding sounds, and that comes with just like sound selection, which is majority of the work. Honestly, if you have bad sounds to start off, it's just not gonna mesh together. But for this instance, it made sense. So this was the bass. It sounded like this. It sounds eerie too, but like it's pleasing to the ear. So that was the bass. That was the upright bass. Funny enough, I didn't see the necessity to like put an 808. I mean, at first I was like, dang, maybe I should layer this with a sub or like another sub, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna just leave it. But this is what it sounds with the sample. Let me play it real quick. So yeah, that was it. For that part. Now let's get to the drums. So, another rule of thumb when it comes to making drums: start off with good sounding samples, drum samples to be exact, from the get go. I promise you, you will save yourself from EQing, doing all the engineering, reverbing, EQing. You won't have to do none of that. Like, just start off with good sounding drums. Like, a lot of these drums I think I was using from Beat Butcher, if I'm not mistaken. He has a lot of good sounding drum samples. Especially for this type of like vibe I was doing. But yeah, as you can see, I layer a lot, but that's what just makes the difference. And I layer a lot. I don't know. I'm weird with it, but I'll put the actual. That's another key. Another gem is putting your instruments in key with the sample or whatever. Like, it was literally like pitching it, 32 cents here, the out knob, making it a little tighter. What else? What did I do? But yeah, a lot of these were just layering. The kick. This is the rim, like pitching it plus 30. Like small little details like that. But yeah, let me play the actual the beat. So really, really, really simple drum pattern. I mean, of course, like it has like a little pocket. But yeah, I see like I do a little panning here, there, just so it's not too like centered, like in the center. The same right here. I think this was off. If I'm not mistaken, this was off a Beat Butcher kit too, and all I did was just do some reverb. I threw some reverb on it. Yeah, right here. Threw some reverb, stock reverb, no third party. What else? Let me see. But yeah, this is what it sounds like. I just love textures. Like, I'm a fiend for textures. But this is how it sounds together. So this is like the little breakdown right here. Of course, I took out some of the drums, but this part, I think I got this from a BWB. Yep, simple. Cause it already like sonically, it already like, and that's another thing, like making your things fit. Like, it's not just a random sound. Like, this already had like the feeling of the upright that I wanted, so I was like, yo, let me just use that. But like, this was the pattern that I used on this bass. Pluck right here, right here. Real simple. And of course, I know that was a wrong note, but it felt good. Like that's I think a lot of like our favorite beats, like there's some type of imperfection in it. And I was like, I could have just, fixed it, but I was like, nah, it sounds good, so I'm gonna just leave it. I'm really one, especially now, I'm trying to get into a habit where I don't overthink my production. Um, um, but yeah, that's how it sounded. We get into the strings for the hook. And as y'all could tell from the record, um, the Go Brooklyn sample, that was Niko's idea. At first, I would have never thought of putting that sample, but shout out to him. That was actually a clever move to put it right there, because it just made it sound so much bigger. Like, I don't know I think he had made that idea, I think in Atlanta, when he was in Atlanta, when we were first doing like little ideas on this beat. He was like, yo, like, what if we put this sample on this part? I was like, yo, let's just try it. Because I'm one to, like, I'm a student first. Like, I learned from anybody. So whatever ideas you got, like, yo, let's try them. So it was one of the ideas that we ended up keeping. It made sense. Especially him coming from, New York. I think it was very, very, very strategic in putting that. It just made sense. But other than that, in terms of structure wise, it's a bit different than right here, but this is the general idea of how the song or the beat was made. Everything else, shout out Lilo and Fleece. They made this beat sound so crazy, like sonically, like everything was just hitting. And then Bearded, of course, he came in, arranged it a little bit, in terms of like, taking some instruments out or switching around the breakdowns. He did his thing on here too, so shout out to him as well. But yeah, like this is actually pretty much it, guys. Like that's another thing another gem is, guys, you do not have to have too much going on in your beat. Like the simpler, I'm not saying it to be like, cookie cutter, but the simple beats are always the ones that get picked up, which is crazy. But yeah, like these are all the sounds. I'll probably like put a link to all the sounds that I used in here, cause why not? Yeah, I'll even, heck, I'll put the whole FLP. I really don't care. But yeah, these are the sounds. You know what I mean? Regular. The thing with me is like I'm always looking for like pocket type of like sounds where like I could like sneak it in, but also I don't know, like it's weird. This is the rim. I think I used Fruity Convolver on this. Yep. A lot of stock stuff to make this. What's on the master? Fruity Clipper. A limiter. Y'all gonna hate me for that, but whatever. And then an EQ just to make it sound, decent at least. But that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, that was everything. Yeah. So let me know what other breakdowns y'all would want me to, break down. I have no problem showing y'all. But thanks again for staying locked in with me. I definitely want to do more of these in the future for sure. But let me know down below or in the comments what should I should break down next. Until next time,